Maneco 64 here. Impromptu live stream. I see there's no one around. I didn't warn anyone, so I'm going to wait to start the live stream, of course. I want to talk about the markets, about this coronavirus crisis. There's a lot of cognitive dissonance, in my opinion. So I'm just going to wait now for people to come on. I see people starting to come on. So today we've seen an announcement from the U.S. Treasury. They've asked Congress to provide $850 billion of fiscal stimulus. That's not surprising. The Fed's providing the monetary stimulus. Now we're going to get the fiscal stimulus. Ironically, the stock markets are actually down. The Dow is down 30 points. S&P is up 1.25%, and the NASDAQ is up. But earlier overnight, the stock market was over 1,000 points, the Dow at least. Morning Analog, James Todd. Hi, Lord Humongous. Yeah, Billy, Garrett. I made a video this morning. Maybe some people misunderstood me that I'm scared of the coronavirus. Personally, I'm not. It's just like the flu, like many people have said. And do I think it's a non-crisis? Yes, I do. Even though it is, what does a non-crisis mean? Well, the crisis is real, but it was engineered, much like the energy non-crisis back in the 70s. I've said that a few weeks ago, that I think that you should read this book if you want to have an idea what I think about this crisis. It's coronavirus non-crisis. Doesn't mean to say that there are people out there contracting this virus or dying from it, but I think it's been overblown, but it's going to be used as an excuse for many things. And I think the globalists are behind it, of course. Don't know if they're going to succeed. As I said, there's a lot of cognitive dissonance. Some people think that Trump is fighting the globalists and that he's, I don't know what to think. I'm not that privy or, well connected enough to know the ins and outs. There's a lot of people who assume things. I listened to Dave from the X22 report. He's a good researcher, but a lot of the things he says, he looks at Q posts and makes assumptions. He doesn't really have the data, even though I agree with a lot of what he says. So Teespring store Billy Airways hat. Maybe I should do one of those. Billy Airways hat in silver. Yeah, so I wanted to do this live stream just to give you my opinion. So a lot of you don't think that I'm scared about this situation, the coronavirus. I think, though, that people need to be prepared for a lockdown because they're going to use the crisis. So you do need to have supplies out there. You do need to have the supplies. And so the stock market has come off from the highs, even though we've seen Mnuchin ask Congress for $850 billion of fiscal stimulus. I think he's going to get it. So this is not surprising. Mr. Lee can't buy any precious metals the past 2 days. Mr. Lee, you should try goldinvestments.co.uk. They've got gold and silver. The only silver they don't have is 1 ounce Silver Britannias. Use my promo code maneco64 and contact Gold Investments. Ask for, well, there's only 2 guys there, Oliver and Simon Temple. They've got stock. Here's the website. I spoke to one of them this morning, to Simon at Gold Investments. He said the last 40 transactions we did were all client purchases. So 40 transactions, all purchases from clients. Helicopter money coming. Yeah, it could be. There's a really good video. Some of you might have seen it already. Amazing Polly. I like Amazing Polly. I've watched her for a few months or over a year. My wife watches her as well. She talks about viral marketing, how the globalists met in New York late last year to how can I say, talk about how they're going to react during a pandemic. So it looks like this has been planned. And yeah, I'll probably get demonetized for this live stream. But I don't just want to talk about the markets, and even though I will talk about it here, but we need to know what's going on. Be as it may, I think they are going to use this non-crisis. And I'm not saying it isn't a crisis. It's just an engineered crisis, like the Americans engineered, or the powers that be engineered, the OPEC crisis, the oil embargo crisis in the 70s. Lindsey Williams has the facts here. I think the same thing has been done by the globalists. Some people think Trump is fighting them, but at the same time, Trump is using the crisis for trying to use it for his benefit. So it's all very confusing. But one thing that's not confusing is we need to keep following the money. We know the money is going to get devalued. We know the financial system is in dire straits right now. I just saw this morning, it was almost 190 billion demanded from the markets, from the New York Fed for the repo. So things are still not great. So we got quite a few people here. I didn't even warn people I was coming on, so that's good. Jake Jones, hi, nice to see you. Took advantage of pullback today and bought a couple of Hong Kong tells. They're kind of Chinese gold bars, I guess. Don't they have a hole in them, Jake, I think? Yeah, never let a good crisis go to waste. Yeah, Andrew Anon, avoid reading too much into X22 report. That's why I like Amazing Polly. Amazing Polly has all the facts. She uses facts, research. David Reed thinks X22 is a psyop. Well, I hadn't listened to X22 report for months because I thought it was too much. But someone sent me a link in the video today. Not sure what to believe about that. Sorry, that was, I think, from my phone. I'm going to turn it, put it on airplane mode. Okay, here we go. There's Billy. Yeah, maybe I will make a Billy t-shirt. Billy Airways, there's always a silver lining. That could be a good one. I've sold some of my Faith and Confidence mugs and t-shirts. 2020, the year that, Faith and Confidence is lost. So maybe I'll design. Oh, a tau is the weight. That's right, 37.79 grams. It's really interesting. All the different countries have different names for the different weights of gold. Oh, hi, MMNO. Nice to see you here. Gregory Menorino, LC. Cuba, Miami Vice, Cuba has a cure. We need free healthcare. Well, I watched a video of a guy who travels around the world on YouTube, and Bald and Bankrupt is his name, and he was in Cuba. Believe me, they might have free healthcare, free education, but everything else in Cuba is really, really not great. Not too sure I'd give up a lot of the stuff that we have to have free healthcare and education if you can't enjoy it. And that looks like Cuba to me. I think we need a balance. Billy's posing for the fans. Jay Jizza thinks X22 report is a cancer. He encourages people to remain weak and subservient. Yeah, gold is going up now. I saw it's rebounded. I think it's ever since that announcement of fiscal stimulus. We're at 1516 right now. Silver is still down, but off the lows, 1268. But these prices actually in gold and silver, their paper prices, they don't mean much. Someone sent me a message with a screenshot of his dealer's prices, and they were in the mid 20s in dollars for silver, 1 ounce of silver. So that's, double the price. So 100% premium. Yeah, Billy is on duty. 500 billion. While they actually, the Fed injected they're going to inject 500 billion and 200 billion. Now looks like Congress is not going to pass the chance to spend more money. So there's another 850, and there's probably going to be a lot more where that came from. The other thing I wanted to point out is, yes, there's talk a lot about bailouts from corporations asking for bailouts and support, but I think it's going to overwhelm the government everywhere around the world. And why do I say that? Well, because I think corporations abused the low rates and the easy credit and borrowed too much in order to buy back their shares for them, so their executives and shareholders could benefit from it. And I think we saw Boeing was downgraded, I think yesterday or the day before, by 2 notches, and they're only 2 notches above junk. And I've spoken about this before. The corporate bonds or corporations who are just above junk, and if they're downgraded to junk, they become fallen angels. And what does that mean? Well, it just means that they're not investment grade anymore, and that fund managers, pension funds, have to get rid of those corporate bonds. And just to give you an idea how big that market is, in 2005, corporate bonds were about 600 billion. Now, well, the fallen angels were 600 billion. The bonds that were on the edge of becoming fallen angels were 600 billion. Now they're about almost 4 trillion. So it could have a huge impact. Don't forget, during the subprime crisis, there was 1 trillion worth of subprime mortgages, and look at the mayhem that created. And don't forget either about the student loans. That's another problem that Jim Rickards talks about in his new book. There's 1.6 trillion, and 90% of the student loans, guess who they're guaranteed by? By you, the taxpayer. So that could start costing the Treasury 200 billion a year, according to Jim Rickards in his new book, which I recommend. I'm reading it right now on my online. Actually, I bought it online. I usually buy books physically, but I bought this one online. It's called Aftermath. That's his latest book. I recommend it. Great. I'll stop here. I've gone on and on, but I'll take some look at some of the questions. Yes, Lily Robin, everything has been planned for years and years. Yeah. And they're trying to control the narrative as well, especially people like YouTube, Facebook. Every time you talk about the virus, they put a little banner underneath your video saying, oh, go check out the WHO, go check out the NHS, trying to make people like me seem like we don't know what we're talking about, that we're making things up. But yeah, it's frustrating. Gold miners are flying. I haven't checked those, Xander. I mean, the HUY yesterday was up 8%, just under 8%. So that was a good sign. Low blood pressure. Mara, do you think about buying puts on fallen angels and wait for the sell-off? Low blood pressure. Right now, the markets are so all over the place that yeah, you might want to buy puts on corporations that have a lot of bonds that are just above investment grade. The problem is we've seen in the last 2 weeks when the markets get very volatile, they shut the market down, circuit breakers. You try to call your broker and you can't deal. So yeah, you might want to do it, but I don't know if it pays off. I think it's better just to stay on the sidelines with cash and precious metals. I think if one is patient, one will be able to get you know cheaper assets in the next 12 to 18 months. I think it's still too early to do that. Billy just jumped off. What are you doing, Billy? Come here, boy. He's gone. He's tired. Lily Robbins says someone in the military said travel between states will be stopped. I heard, I don't know if you guys have heard of Crypto Blood. It's a good YouTube channel. I don't listen to him very often, but he's had this bond trader from Philadelphia. It's a young woman, and she's very good. She called in and she said that they're going to institute, she's heard from a friend who has a relative in the board of one of the airlines, and they were not supposed to give out the information, but apparently California, New York, and I think Illinois are going to declare quarantines in the next 24 to 48 hours. Luder of Switzerland has over 10 times the infection rate as the UK. Yeah, I mean, as I said in the beginning of this video, there's so much cognitive dissonance, so many different opinions. Some people think it's just a normal flu, but you look at the news from Italy, it's worrying. You look at what we're doing in the UK here, we're pretty much going on as things are just normal. Who knows what the right thing to do is? Who knows? But one thing that I think we know is that we need to have some supplies at home, because even if this flu isn't going to last and it's going to disappear, people are still going to, I think we're still going to see places shut down or locked down. And if you can't go out to get stuff, you need to have stuff at home. Who knows? Yeah, I haven't walked Billy yet today. Maybe I'll go out for a walk later on. Yeah, I bought some silver yesterday, so we're getting some silver. I'm getting it shipped from Gold Investments. They're the only ones who had silver yesterday, readily available. Oh, I wanted to tell Jake I got your package. So they're going to send it to me with my silver. Thank you, if you're still on. Trump is going to speak soon. So let's see where the markets are. Wow. Yeah, gold is really zooming back up. We're at 1529. Silver is almost back to unchanged. The Dow is down 30 points. S&P up 33. So for some reason, the Dow is not doing too well. There must be one of the Dow components that is weighing on this. Maybe it's Boeing. I don't know. I haven't looked. One thing that I've noticed here, the British pound and the euro are really getting hit hard. The British pound is down almost 2% at 120.30. The euro is down 2%. Another reason to have gold, you see. Gold is up almost 1% now. So if you have all your money in fiat currencies, you get these moves. Gold seems to be stable most of the time, I would say. No, Billy's just lying on the floor here. He just wanted to get off the sofa. Billy Airways. Yeah, I think maybe we should buy all the subscribers and viewers. We should get together and form a company to buy Boeing, so we could make it. Yeah, buy Boeing. Wishful thinking. I think the taxpayer is going to be on the hook for Boeing. Yeah, so I think with this crisis, I think they're trying to move people into a certain direction. They're definitely doing it in Europe, in the continent. He, People are really, I think, very scared and all at home, not doing anything, especially in Italy and now places like Switzerland and where else in Spain. Uh, who knows? Night out. The spot price is basically the paper price uh, of the bullion banks and the LBMA. The COMEX price is a futures price. The spot price is the foreign exchange price because most people forget that gold is traded as a currency. It's traded on the foreign exchange market, and spot just means next day settlement. You deal today, spot is tomorrow. Well, the reason why is because the spot price is very dependent on the futures price, which is a fake price, really, and also the spot price. A lot of times the banks trade unallocated gold, which is basically trading paper, not real physical. So that's why the spot price usually doesn't match the dealer price. The other reason as well is that the dealer needs to make a small profit, a small percentage, because he has to have an incentive to be in business. He can't just sell you the gold and make no profit, or else he run out of be out of business. Volatility affects the premium as well, because the dealer needs to cushion his profits because the markets are moving so quickly. So he might add a little bit to his, lower his bid and uh, increase his offer price to protect against the moves. So it depends a lot. SW says parents are stressing out. Yeah, it's understandable that people get concerned, and yes, I've been following, the alternative for almost 20 years. I know what the globalists are up to, but there's so much information out there. People that you think are in the alternative as well, like Chris Martenson, Peak Prosperity. He's very panicky about the coronavirus, even though I think he's got a good. How can I say he's a good analyst? But yeah, it's very hard. But one thing we know, the markets, they don't look good. And I think the system is going to be, we could have the ICE 9 analogy play very soon. They might have to shut the markets down. They're doing a lot here and it doesn't seem to be working. They've announced, well, let's see, Sunday, the Fed cut rates by 1%. They announced 700 billion in QE. And now the Treasury is asking Congress for 850 billion. And the stock market is actually, if you add to, if you 3,000 yesterday down, and guess how much higher it is today? It's only up 40 points, the Dow. And the S&P is up 1.9%, but it was down 12 yesterday. So I think we've always thought, a lot of people think that the central banks can solve all problems, print money, and the government can borrow money and everything will be okay. I think we're reaching a period where people are losing faith and confidence, as I've said, in the system. And that's why I think no matter what you think about the coronavirus crisis, and I'm going to use the word today, I don't care. no matter what you think about it, we need to look at the financial side. This coronavirus crisis has only been used as an excuse to cover up the unsustainable monetary debt-based system that we've been living under, well, for over 100 years. It's gotten a lot worse, of course, since 1971. That's what we need to focus on. Apart from that, as far as health is concerned, yeah, I always try to look after my health, and I guess people should do that as well. Getting scared, yeah, some people are going to be more scared than others because they don't know the facts, right? And I can't say that I know all the facts about what's going on with this crisis. I can't. If someone says they know everything, I think they're lying. So that's why you need to be skeptical about the official stories, but at the same time, you need to be cautious, I think. Test guy, Gary, are you still in the miners right now? No, I'm not. I'm not in the miners right now. No, I've only got physical stuff and cash. I think the miners, and I'm not there, not because I don't think they're going to do well, but they are very volatile, of course. Yeah, Goldman, so yeah, they're going to be selling into strength. This is I think the new strategy now. Things have changed. I think the bull market is over, well and over, and people are going to be selling on rallies, not buying on dips. UK bullion trading paused on Twitter just now. And I mean, I deal with gold investments. I've dealt with other dealers, but I have a promo code at goldinvestments.co.uk. They've got enough supply. I've got a promo code maneco64. Give them a call if you need any. They're providing it still. Yeah, so that's right, Paul. That's right. I just wanted to clarify, make this live stream, because in my video this morning, maybe I don't know. I just wanted to tell you what I think. This will probably be demonetized. The other thing YouTube is doing, I got a message in the YouTube studio today, highlighted message from YouTube saying that because of this coronavirus crisis, they have less humans working, which doesn't make sense because they could be working from home on their computers, right? But they said when I request, for example, if they partly demonetize a video, I can request for a manual review instead of the computer algorithmic review. So what they're saying now is that they're not going to be doing the manual reviews anymore, and that they might even take videos out that even meet the community guidelines. So I could make a video and never mention anything that is outside the community guidelines, and they can choose to take it out. So it's getting more and more draconian. I thought YouTube and Facebook were supposed to be like public utilities. I don't remember when talking on the phone, on the landline phone years ago, and if I was talking about something to a friend or to family and something controversial, I don't remember the phone company, cutting the line. And this is what they're doing. Oil 28.73. Let's have a look. Wow, gold is really zooming up now, 1542. Yeah, oil is not really doing that well. I've got WTI at 29, the front month. Yeah, there's something wrong in the kingdom of Denmark, so to speak, I think. Comcast is giving free Wi-Fi to everybody in Chicago. Peter Schiff, wet dream today. LIBOR spike. I didn't see there was a LIBOR spike today. I think there was a repo rate spike the other day, up to almost 2.5%, which is way above the Fed funds rate now, which is around 0.25%. But if there was a spike in the LIBOR rate, it's because basically the banks don't trust each other, so they're not lending or borrowing from each other overnight. The LIBOR market is not like the repo market. LIBOR market is unsecured lending, so there's no collateral. So that's another reason for it to spike. Repo, even though there is collateral lending, that has been in trouble as well. So I'm not surprised there's trouble in the LIBOR market, and that's bad again. That means that liquidity could dry up for all these big corporations. GTFO, do you think the gold price is going to be volatile? Yes, it's been very volatile already the last few weeks. Yeah, it's all yesterday, for example, the low was 1450, the high was 1570 in dollars. Today, the low has been 1,465, and now we're at almost 1550. So, and I venture to say that eventually, very soon, we could see $200 swings in the price of gold. Does that mean I think it's going down? No, it's going to keep going up in the longer term. And Holman thinks it's a bioweapon. I think you could be right. And someone might say, "What do you mean you think?" Well, because I don't like to. Yeah, it's not. I don't have the information, but most probably, seeing the way these globalists operate, they don't care about you and me. They care about their agenda. Lower bound for gold. Well, I think we found it here around 1450 to 1500 now. If we get back above 1580, I think that's very positive. We'll probably go back up. Apparently, Charles Nenner sees the gold upcycle starting, I think, in about a week's time or so. His cycles, of course, sometimes they're not perfect. Maybe we're starting today. Who knows? Why is bullion by post stop taking orders? Well, because they probably don't have any gold or silver, and they can't guarantee the delivery. Gold investments, by the way, they haven't stopped. So if you need any gold or silver, gold investments still have. Use my promo code maneco64. It helps. It helps you and me because you get a discount, and I get a small commission. Well, the silver price, Corey, it's just a paper price. I heard from people in the States, their dealers were selling, you had to pay $25, $24 yesterday. So this price you see on the screen is just like an illusion. It's a paper price. Yeah, I think, the people who own silver, they're not silly to want to sell it at these prices as well. Korean cooking woman. All right. San Francisco Bay Area closed down for 3 weeks. So yeah, gold is 1543. Looks like the stock market is picking back up, but not nearly enough as you would think after all the stimulus that has been announced. So I would expect this rally in the stock market, and we could go higher during the day. I would expect it to fade at the end of the day or go down. Bardale, if gold gets below 1250, I will buy more. I think you're not going to buy any more then, because I don't think it's going to go there. And I usually don't like to say things like this, but well, good luck. If you go, good luck waiting for it to go back below 1250. Paul Hunt, I heard from one of my friends in the city, and he actually knows Charles Nenner, and he gets his work, and he warned me, my friend, that Charles Nenner has the up cycle starting from the 26th of March. I don't know. Maybe he's changed it to April. Bobby 8270, my friend bought 30,000 sovereigns this morning using your code. Is that 30,000 pounds? Or I think it's pounds, because 30,000 sovereigns would be a lot. And that would be really good. I could probably take the whole month off if it was 30,000 sovereigns. But you mean 30,000 pounds? That's a big order. Best place to buy gold? Where are you, Tyler? Almost sounds like Tyler Woods. If you're in the States, I mean, you need to do your homework. I'm in the UK, so I know a few places in the UK. If you're here, I'll let you know. EU. Yeah, gold investments. I have a promo code there, maneco 64. If you use that promo code, and they've got inventory. So I'll give you the website. And they'll ship anywhere in the EU, even though they're in the UK. There you go. Oh, you're welcome, Tyler. Yeah, Bill Gates, his yacht is running on hydrogen. The interesting thing is, I saw that Bill Gates has resigned from the board of Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett's company, and he's resigned from the board of Microsoft. I'm not sure what's going on there. He was at that meeting. Pauly talks about amazing Pauly. What's it called again? Event 201, a pandemic strategy session held by the World Economic Forum. I think it was in New York in November, and they're talking exactly about a crisis like this, what people would be doing. And even Netflix brought out a series or a movie called Pandemic just before this started. It just seems a lot of coincidence to me. US Mint sells gold. Yeah, for Americans, yeah, it's great. I remember years ago, I think 2006 and 7, the US Mint would still ship to the UK. I used to buy coins from the US Mint, and it was great. But then it got really difficult for some reason. Graham Hobbs, where the chances Bill gets the coronavirus? He'll probably get it, and then he'll be cured or something. I saw the Prime Minister of Canada, apparently he doesn't have it anymore. What I heard a lot as well when I worked in the city is that back in the late 80s, early 90s, Bill Gates was one of the biggest traders. He used to trade a lot of bond futures on the CBOT. and 10-year note futures. Bill Gates, he used to do a lot of trading of futures for some reason. Um, 1, 2, 3. You mean my live stream? Keep calm. It wasn't taken down. What happened there? I did the live stream, and then you click a button when you do end the live stream, and then I clicked another button, edit the live stream, and then when I pressed that button, it wouldn't. It had an error message, so I tried to refresh the page, and it deleted the live stream, but it wasn't taken down. It was a mistake. It sometimes happens. It's not the first time it happened to me, probably the second time in the last year. I don't know. There's some kind of problem sometimes with editing the live stream to record it later, to have it recorded for later. Gold parabolic. Yeah, we're around 1550. Flash crash on silver. Now, silver now is up 20 cents, back up above 13 silver. The interesting moves here, at least for me, is the move in the British pound and in the euro. They're down almost 2%. So gold must be doing really well in sterling terms. We are at almost 1,300, and this morning we're just above 1,200. We're at 1,281, so very, very volatile. Athelstan, right now, I think personally, a good place to buy bullion is gold investments. You won't be able to avoid the VAT in silver, but they have supply of gold and silver. They might not have much left anymore because a lot of people are going there now after I told them. But goldinvestments.co.uk, their premiums are reasonable and they have stock. It's no point going somewhere where they don't have stock and they quote you a low premium because you're not going to get anything. You're going to be waiting weeks. Make sure you use my promo code maneco64. You get a 0.5% discount if you use that. Everyone is about to sign on the dole. I saw a story about that in New York. There's a lot. The website for signing on was like went down because there's so many people signing on. That's the thing. The only time I was made redundant was in 2012 when I worked in the city. And one of my big clients, my wife said, well, you need to sign on. You know, you're eligible to get unemployment benefit. And I've always had the dread ever. I never wanted to do that. I think it's, I know some people have to do it, but, and I didn't have to do it because I had savings and because I've always believed that you need to save for a rainy day. But they convinced me to go because they said it's a waste. You paid all the national insurance, but still I didn't want to do it. I think it's something that for me is, I'd rather be dead than claim the dole, but might sound extreme. But, and I did back then because I didn't want to upset my my friends and my wife. They said, you need to do it. You've paid, and I have paid a lot of national insurance, which is the equivalent of the Social Security. But I can understand why people would do it. They haven't really, and I can understand that people sometimes are not as fortunate as I have been to be able to protect myself. But a lot of times there are people who don't have any discipline and they don't do the savings, right? Oh, by the way, there are Maneco 64 baseball caps in the Teespring store if you're interested. It's a different kind. It doesn't have this blue or color here, but it's just as nice as this one in the Teespring store if you're interested. And I'll think about the Billy Airways t-shirt maybe. Funky should be taking money out of the bank. My strategy has always been to not have too much money with the banks, just enough to pay my bills. So if you've got a lot of surplus money in there, I probably would take a little bit out in cash. It doesn't hurt. I think it's good to have cash, especially now with what's going on. Hit that like button, Banana Royalties. Yeah, that would be good. 103 likes right now. My wife was just sent home from her job here in New York. They have closed until further notice. Yeah, that's the thing. You might think, it's an engineered crisis, and it could be. But if your employers are going to do this, if the government is going to do that, it's still a crisis, right? And it scares people because they think there must be something wrong if they're telling us to do this. Yeah, let me write that down. Billy Airways fly with a silver lining. I'll send you a commission, Pablo, if I sell some. Let's write it down. Billy Airways. Fly with a silver. I still have a notebook with a pen. Sometimes it's nice to write down things. John Jeffries, my wife is off work until April 20th. Thank you, Pablo. Stock up 600 now, yeah. Buy a Ferrari. I'm not really too much into fancy cars. So if I had the money, I probably wouldn't buy it anyways, a Ferrari. Maybe buy a little Fiat Cinquecento to help the Italians, if they can ship it over. Fiat cash, no, Fiat car. What a shambles. Yeah, I mean, the silver is rallied back up a bit. It's now back down below 13. Gold is doing very well. But the thing about silver, at least here in the UK, there's a lot of places you can't get any more silver. You have to wait. And if you do, the price is a lot higher than what you see on the screen. I'm not playing golf today. No, I went shopping with my wife. Maybe I'll play on Thursday. Hi, Jane. Jane is in France. Yeah. Hi, nice to see you, Jane. I think it's the Loire region, Loire Valley, really beautiful place. Yeah, Ryan, there is talk that people are selling because gold is very liquid. uh, and it's right now it's up on the year. I mean, we started the year at 1,515. We're at 1,540. So stock market is down over 20%. Yeah, but I think that's a little bit of a exaggeration. I think a lot of it is to do with the fact that people who trade paper gold, they leverage a lot, so they get whipped around, and they buy high and sell low, and you get all these big moves. You're welcome, Scott Buzzard. He's going to bed. He's in Australia. It's actually Wednesday in Australia. Colloidal silver, I don't know how much it is now. It's probably gone up a bit, but I've got some here. Colloidal silver. It's not that expensive. You can look up on Amazon or Google colloidal silver. Maureen, alone, why haven't British government shut down schools? I don't know. Maybe because if they shut down schools, a lot of people will be off work, because nowadays both parents work, most of them. But then again, it looks like a lot of people are being sent home from work. So I think it's only a matter of time until they shut the schools down. Rusko Ruskov from Belfast. All right, Northern Ireland. Yeah, fuel and petrol. I actually about four last weekend, I filled up my car. I usually never fill it up. It was a lot of money to fill the whole thing up, so I have a full tank. Don't have to use it too much, so at least I don't have to worry about that. Alpine Maximus, no pensioners, no pension problem. True. Oil price, I think, yeah, I mean, right now it's below 30. I think 27 is a key support. If we break 27, it could drop even further. I think that would be really negative for the stock market and the dollar in general, the petrodollar system. Bentleys have an enormous fuel tank. I don't have a Bentley, that's for sure. Stephen Pack virus doesn't seem to be infecting high numbers in Africa. Well, I'm not going to really go too much into that, except to say that some people think it's because of the climate. Some people could say that maybe in Africa they're not keeping as good track of things. It's not as developed, the system. Who knows? But would you go and move to Africa just because of this virus? I wouldn't. USA suspended mailing any all packages to Hong Kong about 6 weeks ago, aiming to protect their supply of masks and protective gear. So much for stand with Hong Kong, Donald, just like lock her up. Yeah, UK government, I mean, they're okay with bailing out RBS and all the banks, but they're not okay with paying for the school outage. Just shows you who's really in charge of the UK government. Other metals, I just stick to gold and silver. I do have a copper bar, a 1 kilo bar. Some of you are into platinum and other precious metals. Where did I learn my English? Well, basically in boarding school. I went to boarding school. and in Switzerland when I was about 10 to 12. And I had some American tutors who taught me English. I was in the French section the first year, and I learned English. And they were from California, my teachers, so maybe that's why I got the American accent. And then went back to Brazil, went to the American high school in Brazil. So yeah, I don't have a Brazilian accent because luckily I learned English really early. Not luckily, but that's just the way it is. Yeah, copper is another monetary metal. Northeastern, yeah, probably because when I went to university in Florida, a lot of my colleagues were from the Northeast. A lot of people from Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, they like going down to university in Florida because of the weather. So yeah, a lot of my friends were from there. So maybe that's where I got it as well. GTFO, plenty of Italians went to Africa to escape Corona and were deported. Well, there you go. End the Fed. I agree with that. End the Fed. That's the best-selling mug I have in my Teespring store. It's the End the Fed. Well, the best-selling product is the End the Fed mug. Gold's come back down. It's at 1533.70. The high was 1554. It's still up $18 though. The stock market is rebounding a bit more. Dow now is up 500. Some of you are saying that Donald Trump is going to be speaking. Some of you think he's going to bail out. Well, no, he's not going to bail out the airlines. You are, the American taxpayer. Silver as well, reduced effort. Silver kills viruses as well. Peter Schiff's going crazy on Twitter. I have to have a look after I finish here. We've almost been here for an hour. Get in my car, drive my car to Boston. Yeah, park the car in Harvard Yard. Yeah, that's the Boston accent. One of my best friends was from Boston. Yeah. Park the car in Harvard Yard. Kennedy, JFK had a good Boston accent, didn't he? Why are European yields going up? Well, I haven't looked at the European yields today. I see that US yields are going up. The 10-year yield is up 10 basis points. Which European? Let's look at the German. That's the benchmark. Let's have a look at the German yields. Germany. Wow, German yields are actually going down. So I don't know which European yields are going up. Maybe the Italian and Spanish. I saw an article talking about that. It's a little bit misleading, that headline. I think it said, oh, European yields going up. But no, it's the spread between like Italian and Spanish and the German yields. But they're still really low, European government bond yields. Yeah, the German yields are down today. So I don't see, yeah, the 10-year yield in Germany is down 1 basis point. Let's have a look at the Italian yields. Yeah, Italian yields are up. They're up 5 basis points, which is quite big. The shorter end in Italy is up quite a bit. 2 years up 16 basis points. So yeah, like I said, it's the countries that are having trouble with this crisis. Let's have a look at Spain. Yeah, Spain as well. The 3-year yield is up 11. The 10-year is up 14. Yeah, that could be another problem as well. Another sovereign debt crisis in Europe is possible. What platform do I use to follow the markets? Well, I have an account with IG.com. For the yields, I use investing.com. They've got pretty good live prices for the yields, investing.com. For the other stuff, I use my IG.com website. Northern Dynasty, is that NAC? Is it Northern Dynasty? Up 8%. Hecla up 28%. Yeah, that's quite, they're volatile, as you said. Yeah, I hope we don't get an SDR, Ryan Bennett. Even if we get an SDR, I'm still gonna be my own central banker and hold on to my precious metals. I don't want any SDRs. Gold is lower. Actually, gold is up today. It's low. It's lower from the highs, but it's up 17 bucks. Silver now is going back down, but it's still way above the lows. Yeah, St. Patrick's. Yeah, today is St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, it used to be when I lived, when I went to university in the States. It's really big in the States. You wear green and everything, but I think Ireland is in lockdown, so I don't think they're going to the pub and drinking Guinness. All right, I'll take a few more questions before I go. We've been on for an hour. Time to buy uranium. I think there's one stock called Chemical. I think I did have that years ago. You're welcome, Paul Naughton. You're welcome. Thanks. All right. So yeah, maybe I will be designing a Billy Airways T-shirt or a mug or a hat, and just wait. I'll let people know if I do. Anyway, thanks, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.